Have you ever felt like you're trying your best, yet it's never enough? You sit with your books open, your heart willing, but your mind drifting. Everyone says, just focus, be disciplined, wake up earlier. But deep down, you know something's missing. This isn't one of those videos telling you to hustle harder or drink more coffee. No, this is a story, a journey from failure to becoming the top student, from darkness to clarity. And if you're still here, it means you're searching for something real. And I promise what you're about to hear might just be what you've been waiting for. Let me take you back to a time when I was drowning. My grades were slipping. My confidence shattered. Everyone around me seemed to be moving forward while I stood still. But then something shifted. I stopped trying to outwork the system and began to understand it. You see, school, it's not just about hard work, it's a game. And like any game, you need a strategy. I started gathering past papers, not just from last year, but from the last 3 years. And patterns began to emerge. The same questions, the same concepts, dressed in different words. Teachers have their favorites and exams repeat themselves more than you think. That's when I realized this wasn't about intelligence. It was about preparation, smart, focused preparation. I wasn't hacking school. I was understanding it. We often think success comes from loud, visible effort, but more often it comes from silent observation. I started paying attention, not just to the lessons, but to the subtle clues, the way my teacher would pause on a certain concept, how the top students quietly structured their notes. Every time my teacher repeated something, I'd mark it. Every time a peer asked a sharp question, I'd write it down. There are hidden gems scattered across YouTube, small channels, barely known, offering golden advice. I found them. I used them. Because in a world where everyone's making noise, sometimes the greatest advantage is to listen. Most students believe the study session ends when the books close, but that's where the magic can truly begin. After I finished studying, I didn't jump to TikTok or lie in bed. I knew my brain was on the edge of memory, and I had one last chance to lock everything in. Sometimes I'd go for a run. Other times, a cold shower. These weren't just habits, they were triggers. They shocked my nervous system, increased focus chemicals like norepinephrine, and helped me retain more in minutes than hours of review could. I learned to use caffeine like a precision tool, not all day, but at specific moments. A small cup before studying, a larger one after. It wasn't about staying awake, it was about staying sharp. Information is overwhelming until you break it down. Chunking became my lifeline. It's the art of taking massive amounts of data and carving it into patterns your brain can digest. When I looked at a huge list of historical dates or scientific processes, it used to terrify me. Now, I break them into cause and effect, beginning to middle, middle to end. I stopped trying to remember and started trying to understand. Visualization helped too. When I imagined what I was reading, it stuck with me longer. And when I recalled those chunks later, the connections felt effortless. This wasn't just a technique, it was freedom. Freedom from overwhelm, freedom to breathe even when the syllabus felt like a mountain. Let's talk about time. Most of us think the more we study, the better we become. But the truth? Progress isn't about how long you work, it's about how deeply you focus. I discovered something called the work unit equation. Intensity times time equals result. Two people could study for the same 20 units, but one might waste hours in distraction while the other hits that target in focused sprints. That's deep work, isolating yourself. No phone, no noise, just you and the task. I worked in 50-minute sprints with 10-minute breaks, and slowly the fog lifted. I wasn't just getting better grades, I was becoming someone I respected, but even top students get tired. And when I felt burned out, I didn't reach for my screen. I reset the right way. A walk outside, no phone, no music, just nature and my breath. Sometimes I'd sit still and breathe deeply 27 times. Hold it in. Let it out, just being. These moments weren't breaks, they were healing. They brought clarity, focus, and energy that caffeine never could, and slowly something beautiful happened. My brain began to trust me again. Sleep. The most underestimated ally of every student. It's not about sleeping longer. It's about sleeping better. 5 hours of deep, quality sleep restored me more than restless nights ever could. And when exams were near and time was scarce, I used what I call the Batman method. A power nap system, sleeping in short 30-minute bursts to mimic a full night's rest in just 4 hours. It wasn't sustainable forever, but in those moments of pressure, it gave me the edge. Because being top isn't about being perfect. It's about making better choices consistently. If you're still listening, I want you to know something. This world can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to believe that nobody sees your struggle. But I do. You're not lazy, you're not weak, you're just tired. Tired of doing things that don't work. Tired of feeling like you're not enough. But you are enough, you've always been. And this year, this moment can be the turning point. Don't wait for motivation to knock. Create a system that supports you. Build habits that protect you. And believe, truly believe, that even the biggest comebacks start with a quiet decision. Let 2025 be your year, not because someone told you to, but because you chose to rise.